has surged by over 80% year over year. Listings that once vanished in days are now languishing for months. Homes that commanded $650,000 in 2023 are struggling to sell at $580,000, revealing a stark decline in home prices. But the biggest threat comes from escalating insurance costs. Coastal risk is pushing homeowners' premiums past an astonishing $7,000 a year, a staggering 50% increase in just 2 years. Add HOA fees topping $500 a month, and potential buyers are backing off hard. Even investors, once the lifeblood of this vibrant housing market, are fleeing. Nearly 30% of investment condos purchased during the boom are now listed below their original acquisition price. Even Airbnb hosts are hurting with occupancy rates down 12% from 2023. Rising costs, falling demand,
saludos all of you, saludos Ed, saludos Mike.
That's a potent recipe for a textbook market crash. Fort Lauderdale might still look like $1 million postcard, but beneath the swaying palms, this real estate market is audibly cracking. 9. Cape Coral.
Wow.
Cape Coral, Florida,
saludos,
affectionately known as the waterfront wonderland, isn't just floating in 2025, it's alarmingly sinking. Once a bustling relocation hotspot, Cape Coral now faces a sharp and undeniable housing market cool down. Home prices are down 5 to 7% year over year. Homes are lingering on the market for 70
I have too much jungle juice.
Why 2 words? Overbuilding and insurance.
Too much partying.
Housing inventory has exploded.
Too much mamawana. You know mamawana?
Active listings, more than doubling 2023's count. Flood insurance near the canals and Gulf now ranges from $8,000 to $12,000 annually, with some insurers pulling out of the region entirely. Add in 30.
We're going to be talking about that today, Ed, about the housing market.
Areas, and the city's once
we're talking about that today.
Is dissolving before residents' eyes.
Not a good thing.
Locals are increasingly priced out their wages, failing to keep pace. The economy, heavily centered on construction and retirees, simply isn't growing fast enough to sustain this artificial housing bubble.
Artificial, baby.
Cape Coral in 2025 remains scenic, but its real estate foundations are seriously sinking. Ocala. Ocala, Florida's esteemed horse capital, is galloping not into glory, but into a significant housing slowdown. From just 800 listings in 2022 to near 3,000.
Saludos. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the Watch Market Update. That's right, I'm back. It was a good weekend. I had a lot of fun. Did a lot of beach, you know, drank a little bit of jungle juice, and I'm back, you know, back with you guys here again. Before I get into the Watch Market Update, I want to ask all of you to please, if you guys can continue, you know, giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, you know, if you can do that for us, we're doing good. You know, our channel is doing beautiful, and it's all because of you guys out there, right? So we're going to jump into what the gold, you know, gold is at holding on real tight at 3,400 and change, and rhodium is at $7,600 troy ounce. Okay, so you know, you're looking into that. That's what's happening, all right? That's what's happening with those metals. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I wasn't thinking of, you know, doing a live stream today, but you know, things are moving quite quickly here in the state of Florida. You know, it's moving, I mean, quickly. You know, we don't even know. Some people don't even know what's going on. Let's put it that way. I've talked to, you know, some people that are very involved in buying homes, flipping homes, and all that good stuff, and buying apartments and houses to use them as Airbnb, something to that, right? Airbnb and all that good stuff. And I want you to know that today it has been talked about that Florida right now is crashing in the housing market. Here in Florida, areas like Tampa, like St. Petersburg, Ocala, Fort Pierce, Cape Coral, Fort Lauderdale, uh, is going is just dropping so quickly that it's not giving no one an opportunity to prepare themselves for what's happening out there. I've been telling you guys, and you can ask Mr. Blair, Ed Blair, I've been telling you guys to buckle up. There's a big storm coming our way, and it's not gonna forgive nobody. It's not gonna forgive nobody. And I just said a few of the cities here, Florida. I mean, there's a bunch more. There's ghost towns, too much construction going on, apartment buildings empty. It's a disaster. It's a total disaster. And you might be thinking, so why are we mixing up, the housing with watches? Come on, don't be misogynist, That's where it all starts. Construction, real estate. And then the rest follows, And this is scary what's happening. I have friends of mine that I have reached out to them, and they have reached out to me the last couple of days, and they have a lot of apartments that they have them for Airbnb. I don't even know how to pronounce that Airbnb, whatever you call it, to rent the apartments, and all that good stuff. And they got a monopoly of houses, like the game Monopoly. You have the red houses and the little green houses. Some of these guys that I know have red houses, and some of them have the little green ones. But if you can't rent those Airbnbs, because nobody's renting Airbnbs out there, at least in Florida where we're from, and we have the beaches, and we have the sands, and we have the mommies, we have the mommies here. We have the mommies. So I don't care. When we have the mommies here and we're crashing in the housing market, I can imagine the ones over there, and other cities, So things are really, really bad in Florida at this moment. I want to ask a question to you 14 subscribers right now that are here live. How many of you are from Florida? How many? Just tell me and I can see what it is. 2, 3, 1, whatever. Anybody from Florida? Okay, I guess nobody's from Florida. Wow. Nobody's from Florida. Well, things are really, really bad. Things are really bad over here right now in the housing and in the condominiums. People are tired of paying these high insurance, high maintenance, and there's buildings with 200 units and one person rented. I'm talking about here, about here in South Florida. Things are really, really bad out there, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're thinking of buying a property, hold on that you're going to be able to cherry pick what property you want. La situación está mala. The situation is bad out there. Listen, they don't want to tell you nothing because they don't want to alarm you, but I will. I want to alarm you so you don't spend that money on a watch that you should be taking care of your, family and your priorities. If you have, rentals and all that good stuff, be careful, papi. Things are really, really, really bad out there, I mean, Tampa, Florida, Cape Coral, St. Petersburg, Fort Pierce, Ocala, Fort Lauderdale. Papi, this is bad. This is really, really bad. Miami Beach. You want me to continue going so I can keep on scaring you? Miami Beach, where all the mommies go, where they go where they do the chicky boom boom, La situación está jodida. La situación está jodida. But listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. We have to stop. I told you about the red color and the blue color. It doesn't matter what color it is. These people son unos puppets. They don't have nothing to say here. They don't have nothing to say. This is all orchestrated, orchestrated? Is it that way you say it? By the ICA. That's it, it's how it's done. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. I was looking, I told you that I'm a person that I like to read and I like to look at things to understand them. In the San Francisco Bay Area, you have a bridge. You have a bridge over there in San Francisco. It's unbelievable, this bridge, the Bay Bridge. They call it the Bay Bridge, and ladies and gentlemen, every single day in that Bay Bridge over there in San Francisco, unbelievable, those people that live over there, over 260,000 cars pass over that bridge. Over 260,000 cars go over that Bay Bridge. I don't know too much about California. Maybe you guys can help me and I will listen to you. You put it up there, I read it, I digest it. And they charge you every time you go over that bridge $8. Going this way and coming this way, I don't know, $8 they charge you. And ladies and gentlemen, a day, I had to put it down so I can, read it, because this is unbelievable. They make a day $2.08 million a day. $2.08 million a day. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do that the total of the whole year, this is unbelievable what I'm going to tell you. That is $759 million a year. And my question to all of you is, where does that money go to, right? But that is in California, San Francisco. I think San Francisco's in California. It's unbelievable, these people, these owners of the world. It's all a business. It's all a business. Now, you go to New York City where you have, people, coming in different bridges like the Brooklyn Bridge, the George Washington Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge. They come in to do business in Manhattan in New York. And ladies and gentlemen, 1 million cars in total go through there. 1 million cars go through there at an average of $9 a toll. How much money is that right there? $9. I don't even know. You do it for me a day, and then you do it in a year. This is so crazy. But I said, I understand that George Washington is 15. I said 9 to make it nice. 1 million cars pass by there the whole day going into the city, going to where that bull. The bull is at over there? I don't know how you call the bull, Understand me, the bull, Unbelievable. 1 million cars go by there. My question is to you, what do they do with that money? Because I believe that one in New York must be trillions of dollars. Trillions. I don't know what's going on. Esto es un plan de ataque. This is a plan of attack. Exactly. You know what I'm trying to say with the bull, the chicky boom boom, the bull over there, It's unbelievable. I don't understand, Mr. Blair. Maybe you can explain to me and help me out, because I think I'm going bananas, seeing all these things. I'm just trying to talk to you guys. And then you have the Triborough Bridge, Verrazano Bridge. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand how many bridges are in New York City. I mean, you don't know. You don't understand. There's bridges everywhere. It's a printing machine, And then the whole country and the whole world is just printing money, You understand me? You're printing money. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to explain to you what's happening with the housing market, so you can see how these people, work with us, what they do to us. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this. What they're doing to us is a hate crime. It's a hate crime. It's a hate crime against us, going over a bridge. Es un crimen de odio. It's a hate crime. You know what it is, man? $2.8 million a day to cross that Bay Bridge in San Francisco, which is a total of $759 million a year. That one is nothing, but New York, you're talking about trillions of dollars. What do they do with that money? And then I'm telling you about the housing market. And I talked to you about the other day. I was trying to tell you the name of the documentary. And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. You need to see this documentary. It's called Inside Job. So you can see the sector of the banking system, what they're doing to us. And all those banks here in Florida, they're like this. They're ready to get you. They're ready to get all this, the flood insurance. Who is this smart man right here? Creative experiment. He knows what I'm talking about. How can you pay for insurance $11,000, $12,000, $15,000? Nope, nobody has that money. People are making in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Ocala, Fort Pierce, Cape Coral. You know what the average person is making a year, ladies and gentlemen? Can anybody put up there? Because we got smart people in this channel. Can anybody out there put what is the average of salaries these people a year? Papi, these people are hurting, man. They're hurting. Then you got these people that are making that amount. Can somebody put it up there? How much? How much is the amount? 36,000. Okay, 36,000. That's pretty close. But I'm going to tell you, they're saying the average is $48,000 a year, papi. $48,000 a year. When you go shopping in Publix, or in one of those, grocery stores, and you buy 2 or 3 things, and you spend the $400. La situación está jodida, muchacho. La situación está jodida. The situation is frogged up. That's what I said in Spanish. The situation is frogged up, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I tell you, you need to watch. Let me tell you something. You need to watch so you can educate yourself. You need to watch Inside Job so you can see how these bankers, what they do to us, how they enslave us. And they're like this. You're talking about property all over the place, papi. You know it. You know if 40K gets you a nickel today. Listen, nobody's going to talk to you the way I'm talking to you. And then these lambones are telling you that the watch market is up and running. The watch market is dead. The watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this. And I'm not laughing. This is not a laughing matter. Dead. I got to do this. It was an emergency. Breaking news. People here in Florida are losing everything. You don't know about this because does anybody live here in Florida from you 17 organic subscribers? It's 4 cents. It's not, I'm telling you, you remember that. 4 cents. It's nothing. Papi, when you're making $48,000 a year, you have like 2 children, not 3 or 4, 2 children, papi, and a car and insurance. You don't have no money. People cannot afford what they have out there. The inventory is crazy. There it is. Mike is telling you from Orlando. He's from Orlando. He has to know because that side of town, things are going crazy in that side of town. I mean, I couldn't believe when I was in Tampa, St. Petersburg. Papi, está jodido. Fort Pierce, Ocala. This is unbelievable. In Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale, people are saying, you know what? I bought this property. Listen to this so you understand me. And I'm going to say a high number so you guys would understand me. They paid $1 million for a condominium apartment, and they're letting it go for $800,000. How? How? Let me get some jungle juice because I'm getting nervous and I'm getting excited. I have to put some ice in it. You know it. The system is rigged. The system is rigged to enslave us. To enslave us. And then you got that poor soul that lives over there in St. Petersburg making $48,000 and trying to buy a two-tone Datejust. You understand me? With a Jubilee bracelet, a 36 millimeter, trying to buy one. But how are you going to buy one? How are you going to buy one? You're losing your property. You can't even buy a property because the insurance will kill you. These people over there in Naples, in Fort Myers, they say, you know what? Stay with the property, stay with everything. I'm not going to pay you for no flood insurance, $15,000. They're getting scammed. The desperate people are getting scammed. And I'm here to awaken you people up. Because I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. ABC, CBS, and NBC, they're not going to tell you this still. They're like this. They're letting the hook of the fish go deeper. Deeper que te clave. They don't care. Those bankers, tell me the name. Lehman, Fannie, tell me those names. Merrill, whatever they are. The names that they are. They're like this. Boy, are we going to get rich again, boys, again. With all these lambones, with all these palomos, we're going to get rich all over again. You saw that guy over there, Timmy? He's thinking about a Rolex. I'm thinking about his house. I'm thinking about his house. Papi, listen to me, and I'm going to tell you this. I have a daughter of mine, my daughter, and she's looking to buy a property. And I spoke to my daughter when she came to talk to me. I said, listen, you need to wait. There's something happening in the housing market. And I'm talking about, this is like around, I would say, 60 days ago. Boom, 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 kaboom. It's coming already, papi. It's here. Let all these manishmas, all these moshuganers, all these lambones keep on driving around their red go fast car, with their Nike Louis Vuitton sneakers, the Supreme hoodies, Montclair sweaters, $17,000 steak dinners, sushi flapping all over the place. They're going to get this deep. Deep. La situación está mala, guys. Things are very bad. I keep on explaining to you, this is a big business. We are enslaved. No matter how you see it. Even if you're one of the lucky ones who's making $300,000 a year, $300,000 a year, they're making us enslaved. People are going nuts. They don't know what to do. These all developers are going nuts. Listen, if you go to that side of town, of the West Coast, it is a ghost town. Left the keys to the door. Be careful with your money, okay? The watch market is dead. Don't let these, don't let these flim-flammers continue fleecing you. They will not tell you this. They're having a hard time. They're not like us. And they're having a hard time. They don't know what to do because they want to continue riding around in the Range Rover. They don't want to get off the Range Rover. They don't want to get off it. I know they don't want to get off it. I know it. And this is why I'm here today. Because the explosion happened today and it's all over the place. People like you, people that have apartments to rent them out as Airbnb, know what to do. Exactly. You're being led to the slaughter, the whole herd. The whole herd. Am I saying that right, Mr. Damon? The whole herd is moving into the slaughterhouse. And we're those people. I'm one of them, and you're one of them. But we're not going to be one of them because we're talking about this. The same thing that happened in the 2008 housing market is here. It's here. And then these people, they have the houses for sale. They say, you know what? I'm going to unlist it to wait. What are you going to wait for? To get this? This is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to get. It's all a plan. It's been laid out on the table. It's been laid out. You know? It's been laid out, and this is what it is. Papi, can somebody help me? This happens, what, every 18 years? Please help me out. Please help me out. This happens every 18 years. No hay break, papi, no hay break. What watch channel talks about this? No one. You want to hear this? You got to come to this channel to hear it. You got to come to this channel to hear it. You know, I come and tell you the truth. I come and spill my heart to you guys, so you guys won't continue, you know, hopping around through life like bunny rabbits. You know, those people over there, you know, Lehman Brothers, Fannie Mae, Fannie Mac, you know, those people, Bank of America, you know, the bull is waiting for you, you know. The bull is waiting for you. The bull is waiting for you. You understand what I'm trying to say? Try to follow what I'm trying to tell you. I have to give it to you in subliminal messages in small little pieces, and you put the dots together. We have some characters here, and they know how to put the dots together. I'm telling you, when you're making $48,000 a year, you know, what can you buy with $48,000 a year? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I said, what can you buy with $48,000 a year? You're paying $2,000 a month of mortgage. Right there's $24,000. You know, 24. Where's the other 24 now? Groceries, car payments. You know, I'm telling you, this is unbelievable. I'm telling you, Damon, this is unbelievable. Listen, guys, you need to wake up already. You got to stop thinking about watches. You got to stop thinking about them. You can love watches, you can like them, but be smart. Papi, what's coming our way, and they told you always, you know, the sunny beaches, the white sand. Papi, that West Coast was bombarded, I don't know how many times, with the hurricanes, you know, over there, you know, and Sanibel, Fort Myers, Sarasota. People left. They left the key in the door and they left. I don't want it. I don't care. I don't want it. I'm not going to pay you $15,000 of flood insurance. You know what $15,000 of flood insurance is? Even if you don't live in the flooding area, you know, where the canals are at, and you live away from that, you still pay $15,000. Deep. Deep. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. I know what I'm trying to tell you. And you know, the people are skipping around through life. No, because it's beautiful. Because I'm going to buy. Listen to me. Out of 100%, I would say, you know, I'm just going to be nice. I'm going to say at 90%, we are all slaves, you know. We are with the herd, you know, walking into the slaughterhouse. And then the 10%, they live, they can buy watches, they have the gold fast cars, the big mansion, but the rest, estamos jodidos, muchacho. Estamos jodidos. I told my daughter, don't you dare buy a property right now. Don't you dare to buy a property right now. The party is over. The good times, you know, that record Good Times, you know, by Chic, you know, the time is over. Papi, there's people that are going to have a hard time buying their kids, you know, one of those, you know, trucks, you know, front loader trucks, you know, little trucks, you know, for Christmas. No hay dinero, papi. Está jodida la situación. Yo sé lo que lo digo a ustedes. I need to drink some jungle juice because I don't know how to explain to you no more, but you need to watch. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a prescription. You need to watch Inside Job so you can understand what's going on. It's unbelievable. Esta gonorrhea, these cockroaches, you know, these cockroaches are unbelievable. Tonka, exactly, the Tonka, there it is. I was trying to say that. I'm telling you that there's no money out there for a Tonka truck. I'm telling you, man, it's scary what's happening out there. And it's all over the news because you're walking around blindfolded because you don't want to see the truth. You want to believe that guy, the walrus. You know what the walrus is doing? He's trying to stay afloat. He's trying to stay afloat with you guys so you guys can, continue maintaining his luxury lifestyle. That's what he's doing. And the other one, the boxing eyes, and the other one, the hippo, and big pun and heavy D. You understand me? The toddler body brother selling, those tickets, You gotta stop being lambones, You need to pass the word around. Let people know what's going on. Esto está jodido, chamaco. Esto está jodido. I told the contractor that came in to see me from some marble slabs. I said, listen to me. If you want to take him, please don't get offended with me. You've always been a great payer. But times have changed, and I need you to pay me this now. With American Express, with a Visa, whatever, pay me. Forget about giving, things on credit. There is the perfect excuse. The world's upside down. I can't pay you. So before that happens, I say, pay me, and that's it. And if I see the guy a little bit nervous, bring me a cashier's check. Papi, aquí no se salva nadie. Nobody. Nobody. Be careful. I know what I'm trying to tell you. The situation is upside down. You guys got to stop thinking that it's the guy from the red team and the guy from the blue team. It doesn't matter. The ICA is involved, and this is the way they do it. COD, papi. COD. COD. And you got to be careful with the credit card because, they pay you with a credit card. Then when they leave with the goods, they call the credit card. I want to cancel that. The credit card calls you. Hey, listen, they cancel that. Boom. Got you. You're not going to get me, papi. You're not going to get me. No, those days are over, and I'm trying to awaken you people up so you understand what's happening out there. I got to tell you, you guys cannot continue. Exactly, chargeback. There you go. I'm telling you, I don't know too much about those big words that you guys know. I don't know too much about those words, but I know what I'm doing, And I told everybody, I said, listen, when you're going to sell something here now, a kitchen, a pool deck, pool coping, you put a notice to owner lien on the property. When they finish paying you, you take it out, and that's it. It might cost me $200 to send the sheriff over there, but I'm protected. No me van a joder. No me van a joder. It's not going to happen to me what happened to me in 2008. I almost had to close my checkbook. You don't know what that means? You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. I'm not going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I will not tell you. This is bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to tell you something else about a watch. If you're looking to buy a watch, that guy, thank you very much, 1,000%. That guy, that guy with the glasses, funny looking glasses, he plays with the computer and he's unbelievable and he's worth like, I don't know, $100 billion. Those people, unbelievable. He's multi-rich. I'm going to tell you, if you're looking to buy a watch, look into a Casio. A Casio is fully black, silicone rubber. It has it's a regular watch, It's quartz, it's batteries made by Casio. And that guy that has like $100 billion, I think his name is Gates Bill, whatever you call him, Bates Gill. It costs him $32. Unbelievable. It works like a charm. No. This is like the basic Casio, quartz. I'm going to get one, $32, and I'm going to put it on. I'm going to go, here's mine, $32. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. I know what I'm trying to tell you. I know what I'm trying to tell you guys. I know what I'm trying to tell you. Ustedes no pueden see, if you're in the channel, you're not going to be Palomo. You know what Palomo is? I'm going to tell you. Palomo is naive. I'm not going to let you be naive. I'm not going to let you be naive. That's over $100 billion, and he has that Casio. I even have the model number. I don't know where I put it at, but I put it somewhere in my notes. Somewhere here, But it's unbelievable. and it's worth $32. Listen to me. It's very simple. Just put, Gates Bill Casio watch, $32, papi. 32 pesos. That is the only good thing that he is doing, that he's promoting. That is the only thing. Because the rest, he wants to get us with, the population and give us the, and get out of here, and buying all the land. You understand me? So that the only thing that he's doing good is that watch. 32 Smackers by Casio. It's beautiful, silicone rubber with a nice, white markers, the hands, beautiful. 32 pesos, papi. No sean pendejo. No sean pendejo. Dejen la pendeja ya. There's going to be a time that you're going to be able to buy all these watches at rock bottom prices. Basement prices. That's all. Papi, they're printing money like you won't believe it. They're printing money like you won't believe it. Estamos jodido. Pero jodido, jodido, jodido. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, how can it be? How can it be that every day 260,000 cars go by the Bay Bridge in San Francisco? Bay Bridge over there in San Francisco. $2.8 million a day on tolls going back and forth. $759 million a year. Where does that money go to, man? Where does that money go to? And then you have New York. I'm telling you again, New York. Over 1 million cars go by all those bridges. Brooklyn Bridge, George Washington, the Manhattan Bridge, to go into the city where the boo is at. To the city where all those business people are at. Lehman Brothers, that brother, this brother, Fannie Mae, Bank of America, get us deep. I cannot continue doing this, man. You think this is easy, what I do? You think it's easy? You come and sit here and blabber your mouth for an hour. It's not easy. It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. Tú estás jodido, brother. Estás jodido. It's unbelievable. A day, not a week, it's exactly a day. 260,000 cars a day go by that bridge. And in New York, 1 million cars, papi. And some people told me that the George Washington cost $15. The Brooklyn Bridge costs, I don't know, $9, $10, $11. The Manhattan Bridge costs another $8. Papi, you're talking about a year, trillions of dollars. Where the frog does that money go to? Where? We're in trouble, man. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Lo que viene por ahí, said it was coming around there is big, man. I'm telling you, when I'm telling you about the housing market, or still, Brooklyn Bridge is still free. Okay, it's free to that. There you go. So please tell me, Nelson, which are the ones in New York you have to pay for? Put them there. Put the ones that they cost. The ones that cost money to, go over the bridge. Papi, the Verrazano, the Truce Neck, I don't know. This is crazy what's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. You see, look at that. There it is, George Washington, Whitestone Bridge. There you go. You people know what I'm trying to say. No sean palomos. Truck's Neck. I said it. There it is. Papi, 1 million cars in all those bridges a day. You're talking about trillions of dollars. What do these motherfuckers do with the money? What do they do with the money? It's a business, man. It's all a business. You gotta pay that family. You gotta pay the interest to those Rothschilds. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. You got 2 wars. You got 4 wars. What is it? How many wars do we got right now going on? Does anybody know realistically how many wars do we have in the world going on right now? Because now we have also that guy from Venezuela, from Venezuela, that guy over there from Venezuela, and that guy from Pennsylvania Avenue wants to get him too. You know what I'm trying to say, the guy from Venezuela. So you got Venezuela, you got Russia, you got Ukraine, you got Iran, you got Israel. What else? What else? house. And we're skipping around through life. You know, that guy, you know, Maduro, you know, whatever you call that guy's name. Papi, no sean lambones. No sean lambones. Mario Como Bridge, 850, you know, 850 to go by. Papi, don't hold that. People can't even, there's people that live in the Bronx that have never been to Brooklyn. You think I'm lying to you? You think I'm lying to you? There's people that live in the Bronx that haven't going across one of those bridges because it's too much money. Too much money. I don't know what else to tell you, but I think I'm telling you a lot of things. I'm touching all the bases. I talked to you about the housing market. Please look into the housing market so you don't get burned. Please. There's people that have 20, 15, 10 Airbnb apartments. Bobby, when you have to come up with $5,000 a month and you have 10 apartments of those, tú estás jodido. Tú estás jodido. And there's nobody renting Airbnbs. It's down, 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 down. Ladies and gentlemen, we have rules in this channel. Look, somebody said there, New York City is cooked. I don't know some people there. I'm telling you, when you have people, they have all those apartments. I'm telling you, I know some of those Michiganers. They have 10, 8, 6, 4, and they're paying $5,000 a month because, you know, that Airbnb, when it was, you know, popular, everybody was renting Airbnbs for $1,000 a day in a house. Boom, boom, you know, elevator that goes inside your apartment. But those days are over. You don't believe me, right? You guys don't believe me. You know, I'm here alone today. Sweet Kid Kino, you know, he had an engagement. He can't be here with me. So I got to talk to you guys strictly. I can't even look at him, you know? And I'm telling you, la situación está jodida, papi. There's no more. I'm telling you what's happening out there. I'm telling you, if you put on, if you look into it, you're gonna go, man, how does that, you know, that Puerto Rican guy know all this stuff? Because I read the whole day, man. Paco Gambino told me always, even if you don't have a PhD and you read, you have a PhD. Unbelievable, but true. Paco Gambino, you know, he would tell me that. Listen to me. Even if you don't have a PhD, Juan, and you read, you're good to go. You're good. I'm telling you, there's two things to look into right now. And I'm telling you, it's gold and rhodium. That's it. That's it. And those people that I know, they have all those apartments. They're the ones, they're waiting for the kaboom. They're waiting for the kaboom, you know, that the gold to go all the way up. You know, I'm telling you, it's scary. It's scary because you don't know what these owners of the world have in plan for us, man. You don't know. You don't know. You know, you don't know what's happening out there for real, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel very saddened to other people who will lose a lot of, you know, properties. I'm telling you, listen to me, that West Coast, they tell me, Juan, if you come over here, this is sad. They have made high rises, you know, is that the word? High rises? High rises, you know, towers of condominium empty. One light on in the whole building. Just because I got a light on doesn't mean that they can do it. He could do it because he has some kind of cash, something. You know, I'm telling you. You know what I'm trying to say. I cannot give it to you the way you want it. Press, I give it to you wrinkled. I'm not going to give it to you press. No. I'm not going to give it to you press. And nice and iron. You know? How do you know when, you know, the pants, they leave the line in the pants? You know, the pants, you know? I don't know. There was a name in New York when I lived there when you press, you know? You know, I would even take my jeans, my dungarees to the cleaners. Unbelievable. I had a pair of Pumas, you know? Pumas, Clyde, you know, Clyde? Not Clyde, Clyde. He played the Knicks, you know? Yeah, there's the crease. The crease. You know what I'm talking about, Nelson, because you're from the Big Apple. You know what I'm talking about. Because me and you have rules and we know what's going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to go into a watch market update because I already talked to you what I had to talk to you about, you know? And I'm getting kind of, you know, this jungle juice that my wife gave me today. I think she put a little extra. I don't know. She's trying to cleanse even my brain. She's trying to cleanse. Believe that wife of mine. I love her to me. You know it, Mr. Donut. Listen, if I'm going to tell them about the loans, I'm going to get them dizzy. You know, our friend, my friend and your friend, Mr. D, told us that we need to keep it simple. We need to keep it simple. If they don't understand the housing situation, if they don't understand the tolls, you know, in New York and in California, estamos jodidos. Where is all that money going to, papi? And then these motherfuckers are talking about trillions of dollars. You know, they're talking about trillions of dollars. And right there, I'm telling you, just in New York and in the Bay Area, we're talking about, I don't know, $3-4 trillion on tolls. People can't even shop for groceries any longer. You don't believe me because you guys can go shopping for groceries. But, papi, there's people out there that cannot go shopping for groceries, man. Listen to me. Times are tough. It's scary. And I'm telling you all this to let you know, hey, man, do I really want to buy that watch? You imagine making $48,000 a year and you're thinking about buying it's nothing bad, man. It's beautiful to have good things. It is. There is, you know, but there are other priorities in life. And you just can't, you know, exactly. They won't even tell you. You know what I heard the other day? I think it was that guy over there from Pennsylvania Avenue, somewhere, one of those guys from the administration. They said that they got all the gold in the world. You know when you got gold, when you have all that gold that you're saying that you have, you know, all that gold that you have in Fort Knox, when you open that door and you put a camera out there. And even when they put a camera, you can't even believe it because, you know, you know, let me tell you something about AI. If you think that AI just came out a couple of years ago, listen, man, they've been using AI on us for, I would say a good 10 years. A good 10 years. Did you hear me? AI. You think those people that just brought it out 2 years ago? Listen to me, man. That's been around for years. For years. We've been flim-flammed, you know? We've been fleeced, you know? We're like cow tippers. We're like possum kickers, you know? Let me tell you, one thing I'm going to tell you is that man said one thing, and it's the truth. Fake news. That's one of the best things he said. Fake news. We see fake news every day. We see stage fake news. I gotta stop this already. You know, I gotta stop this because, you know, I cannot continue. They're gonna do this to me, and that can't happen. You know, we have a job to do, and that job is to have just okay. Welcome aboard. You know, I gotta just let my recovering tomato cans know what's going on. And I'm telling you one more time, you need to watch the documentary Inside Job. It's one of the most powerful tools that you should have, you know? And it was one of our loyal subscribers who, you know, recommended that documentary, and it tells you, listen to me, everything that is happening right now, you're gonna see it in the documentary. You're gonna go, oh my God, it's there. You know, it's there. So watch it when you have a chance. All right, guys. I'm gonna give you guys a watch market update, and here it goes. Our first watch is an AP Royal Oak You know, stainless steel jumbo ultra thin with a blue dial, 39 millimeter. This watch was at one moment $85,000. You know, $85,000. Then $72,000. Then $65,000. And I'm going to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your money. If you want to continue giving it away to those people so you can continue maintaining their lifestyle, that's up to you. I'm never going to give them my money, and I'm never going to let them, flim-flam me and fleece me, and I'm not going to maintain their lifestyle. Don't pay for that. AP Royal Oak 16202, stainless steel blue dial. Don't pay more than $55,000 in dropping, all right? Today, I'm not going to give you no drops. No drops today. Today I'm going to be stingy, real stingy. Ladies and gentlemen, our next one, ladies and gentlemen, is an AP Royal Oak, yellow gold, reference number 16202, ombre dial. Ombre dial. Unbelievable, this ombre dial. Jumbo, ultra thin. They call this watch the James LeBron. The James LeBron. AP Royal Oak, yellow gold with an ombre dial. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch was over 350,000, 275, 199. And I'm going to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, no sean palomos. Don't be naive. Don't pay no more. Don't pay no more. And it's dropping. It's dropping. Don't pay more than $93,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. I'm giving you this service for free. For free. And to me, it hurts my feelings when you people out there paying for membership. You pay those people $10, $20, $30 a month. They're doing the backstroke in a swimming pool, somewhere out there. And what do they give you? Just tell me, what do they give you? Do they give you what I give you? Unbelievable, these people. Unbelievable. So ungrateful. Unbelievable. I'm only kidding, boys. Our next watch is a Richard Mille RM7201 titanium chrono. Unbelievable in-house movement. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if I tell you how much this watch, can anybody tell me how much this watch was worth 4 years ago? 4 years ago, tell me a number. Somebody put it up there. They no saben. This watch, Mr. Donald, you can go a little higher if you want. A little higher than that. A little higher than that. Never. I never will, Dr. E. Never will, Dr. E. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Richard Mille, which it was at one moment over $550,000. $550,000. Titanium, where the push buttons are at, has a little bit of rose gold, around it, a little rose gold. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, do you do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch? Don't pay more. Under retail. Under retail. Don't pay more than $240,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. You tell them to call me. You give them the price, and you say they're crazy. Well, call one at Opusntime. He'll set you straight. You tell them to call me up. They won't dare to call me. They don't have. You need to have them as steel. If you have them as steel, then yo lo tengo de acero, steel. I don't have no more worries. Come on. I'm living for free now. You don't know about that kind of stuff for free. I'm living for free. I'm going to let my hair grow real long now like John Lennon. That's it. I told my wife about that. She got mad at me. She said, no, you can't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, here goes another one. An AP Royal Oak. AP Royal Oak. Unbelievable. Titanium, BMG, burgundy dial. You know, unbelievable. That Wolverine, you know, the Wolverine with those big, I don't know, nails, you know, Wolverine, that color. Burgundy, ladies and gentlemen. This was a $700,000 watch all day, every day in the push button era. Bing, 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 bing. Why? You don't take it through the door. And the back door, they will do something to you over there. I don't know what they will do to you because I haven't had the, you know, the pleasure of going through the back door. You know, they say they clean your sinuses, they wax your sinuses. I don't know what they do to you, but ladies and gentlemen, this watch was all the way up, all the way up. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. The Serpico, thank you very much. Don't pay for that watch. Don't get scared. It's nothing big. Let them come to call me. Don't pay more for that 16202 titanium. You know, unbelievable, that watch. Don't pay more than $149,000. Papi, $149,000. No coman mierda. No sean gil. You know? You can't, you know, you can't. I invite them to come over here. They don't have it. You know, I look at that, you know, young kid with the big ears. What's his name? Jiminy Cricket. You know, the Chia Pet spray can hair. Coño, qué feo el tipo ese. Ese tipo feo. He's an ugly looking guy. Kilo told me to say that one day. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a watch here for you guys. It's the Rolex stainless steel Sky Dweller. You know, with an oyster bracelet. With that mint green dial. You know? Not the Jubilee, the oyster with the mint. Sky Dweller, 42 millimeter. You know, unbelievable. Reference number 336934. Don't pay for that watch. And you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $20,000. Okay? Don't pay more than $20,000, and you want it full set with all the bells and whistles. You know? All the bells and whistles. I'm just telling you what it is. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I spoke to you about the Rolex stainless steel Land Dweller 40 millimeter. You know, 127334. Unbelievable white dial. And I told you a couple of days, don't pay this much for it. Does anybody remember what I told you guys have to pay for that watch? Does anybody remember? Anybody? Nobody remembers. Okay? This is how you guys are paying attention. And I'm going to tell you today, don't pay for that watch more than $37,000. You do whatever you want. It's your money, and you do whatever you want. It's dropping off. You know when you will watch that program. It was called Beretta or Starsky and Hutch. I don't know if you guys saw Otoma, when the car will fall off the cliff. This is falling off the cliff everywhere. I mean, this is the #1 watch market update show in the world. It's landing. It's landing. I know what I'm telling you. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. I only try to help you people out. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a Rolex. Yellow gold Daytona with an oyster flex. You know, with a blue Tiffany dial. You remember, Mr. Donut? Starsky and Hutch, Beretta, and Toma, those programs, they were unbelievable. You know, the effects they had on those cars were unbelievable, you know? Dukes of Hazzard, that kind of stuff. You know, falling off a cliff. We're dead. You know? I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me. This is the Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona with a Tiffany dial. Blue dial. Reference number 126518LN. Ladies and gentlemen, these people are out there parading that watch for $115,000, $110,000, you know? And they're pushing it because they're trying to hit. This watch was being hyped between dealer to dealer. Hype, back and forth. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm stupid like that, how much you should pay. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm only telling you what you should pay. You do whatever you want. It's your money. I believe you have deep pockets. I believe. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. You're going to have to wait while I drink some jungle juice. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $96,000. And I have to do this one. You do whatever you want. It's your money. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a Rolex Platinum. When it was first released, you know, they call this 39 millimeter. They call it the 1908. It has an ice blue dial, you know, with a leather strap. And they were saying out there that this was the dog with fleas, you know, the dog, you know, all that good stuff. And I'm going to tell you, it went all the way up, you know, to the 60s, you know. It's unbelievable, these people, you know, it's unbelievable. What these people have done to you guys is a crime. Not to me, because, you know, I got sweet kid Kino that tells me everything. He prepares me, you know. One day, Kino says that he wants to show his face, but I told him he can't because he is well known throughout the watch industry. That's who I have in my team. Unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, this beautiful, ladies and gentlemen, this 1908 Platinum, you know, blue dial. It's an unbelievable looking watch, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. They call this the 52506. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for it more. I'm not going to tell you because you guys are not really paying attention to me. You know, you need to pay attention to me. Don't pay for that watch more than $41,000, right? $41,000. You tell them to call me. Tell them to call me. Tell them to call me. You tell them to call me. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's right. You remember that, Mr. Donut. You know, Mr. Donut, I've been wanting to ask you a question, Mr. Donut. This is to you, Mr. Donut. You know, every once in a while, I see that they use, it has your name, Mr. Donut, and then sometimes your name disappears. Is that like a conspiracy? Is that you, or is it a conspiracy in our, you know, in our situation, our army? You know, I don't know. You tell me. Okay, D, that's Mr. Damon. You know, they shaking the boots, he says. Unbelievable. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, don't pay more than $41,000 for that 1908, all right? Don't pay more than $41,000. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a Rolex Day Platinum 40 millimeter ice blue dial. You know, understand, with that Reese's Pieces. What do you know? Reese's, a chocolate Reese's Buttercup. You know, they have that little, you know, the bezel. You know what I'm saying? The Reese's bezel. You know, it has that. It's platinum. It's unbelievable. That's me trying to okay. You see that? There you go. Wow. Let me read that again. That's me. They're trying to shut me down. Wow, man. Is that for real, Dr. Donut? Mr. Donut, excuse me? Is that for real? Wow. I knew it. I can see it. Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm getting kind of nervous. I'm nervous. God. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Donut. I am. The Rolex Day Platinum 40 millimeter ice blue dial. You know, the fluted bezel. You know, the fluted bezel. Platinum. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $67,000, right? You do whatever you want. The watch market is dead. Listen, my prices, I'm telling you, $10,000, $6,000 less than what they're asking you guys. And this is going to be my 2 last watch market updates of the evening. I hope you guys are enjoying this market update show. I really do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an AP Royal Oak frosted white gold 41 millimeter, reference number 154 07, B as in boy, C as in car. Okay? Unbelievable watch. This watch, it was all the way up there, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it was up there like that guy, you know, the guy that makes the electric cars, those rockets that he throws, all the way up there, man. It was brutal, all the way up there. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. You know, this is a double balance wheel open work, you know, white gold frosted, you know. It was hammered. You know, over there in Queens and, you know, Con Edison. You don't know about Con Edison? You know, Con Edison is, the, you know, the electric, you know, people, you know. They're making holes to that frosted gold. You know what I'm trying to say. This watch, ladies and gentlemen, it was all day. That's what it was, all day. Don't pay for that watch more than $191,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you your favorite watch because I know you guys love this watch. This is the watch. There's some of these people over there in St. Petersburg and Tampa, you know, over there, Fort Pierce, Ocala. You know, they want it and they bought it and they got in trouble. We're going to be talking about the Rolex stainless steel Jubilee bracelet, 40 millimeter, reference number 126710 BLRO. Unbelievable. You know, the Pepsi, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you, you do whatever you want. There's no money out there, Papi. Cash is king. Cash is king. And smart money is staying away from luxury goods. We know someone that went to pawn that watch. It's pawn right now. And the most they gave him for that watch in a pawn, the most they gave him for that Pepsi Jubilee bracelet, he pawned it. And he was asking for the stars. And my friend did not budge. He says, no, you can take it. You can take it. Bring me everything. I don't want the watch. You bring me the watch. You bring me the card. You bring me all the paperwork. You bring me everything. Does anybody know how much they gave him for pawning that watch? You're saying 15 they pawned it, or 15? That's what I'm going to try not to pay for it. Anyway, they gave him $11,000 in a pawn. $11,000 in a pawn. And I don't mean just the watch. No. I'm going to give you the 11 and you bring me everything. All the bells and whistles. Everything. Here's your $11,000. Papi, when you're looking for $11,000, don't ever forget this. Paco told me that a long time ago. He says to me, Juan, listen to me. When you're looking for $5,000, what makes the broker believe that you're going to come back for that watch? It's almost gone already. $11,000. You know, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $17,800, and no dropping today. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. I hope you enjoyed this watch market update. La situación está jodida. The housing market is unbelievable. I told you about that guy, you know, Gates Bill. The watch you guys should buy is the Casio, fully rubber, you know, black. I don't know what it is, but a nice $32. You know, $32. La situación está jodida. No hay dinero por la calle. There's no money out there. All right, guys? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like our channel. Don't forget to recommend our channel. Don't forget to share our channel, you know, so they can keep on learning the things that you guys are learning, you know. I teach you guys for free. It's been a beautiful night. I feel great. I'm going to go now. You know, we have a little, when my daughter goes on vacation, she drops off, she has a little Pekingese, you know, a little Pekingese. You know what a Pekingese is? A little dog, you know. It's a little munchkin, you know. I'm going to take him for a little walk to see what happens out there. I'm going to be thinking about all you tomato cans that have recovered, you know. Anyway, guys, it's been fun with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And like me and Kino would always say, take care and brush your hair. Good night, guys.